When it comes to Bailey, take the Ober. Let's discuss on Fantasy Baseball today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Wednesday, September 28th. I am Frank Sanford, joined by Scott White. And if you are watching this on YouTube, you're probably wondering, why is Frank orange? Well, I'm trying to figure it out myself. I'm having a whole bunch of technical difficulties trying to get it figured out.
It's just making me look even paler than I am.
I'm sorry.
It's actually doing you favors, not me so much.
Let's talk about a few pitchers, Scott. For those who play in daily lineup leagues, they might be looking for streamers over the final week or so of the season. And I've got 4 names here for you, Scott. Hunter Greene, awesome once again at the Pirates. 6 innings, 1 unearned run, 10 strikeouts in that one. Bailey Ober, who I mentioned in the intro, had a career night up against the White Sox. 7 1/3 shutout, 10 strikeouts in that game. Mitch Keller, solid once again. He has a 2.0 ERA over his last 5 starts. And Bryce Elder actually pitched on Monday for the Braves, and he threw a 6-hit shutout at the Washington Nationals, with 6 strikeouts in that game. So we've got 4 names here, Scott. Bryce Elder, the final matchup, looks like he could face the Marlins, so obviously that would be great. Mitch Keller versus the Cardinals. We got Bailey Ober at the Tigers, and Hunter Greene versus the Cubs. How would you rank those 4?
Well, I like 3 of the 4 for their final matchup. The one I don't like is Mitch Keller. So, obviously that's a tough matchup going against the Cardinals, and I'm still a little iffy on how good he actually is. So let's leave him out and just talk about Hunter Greene, Bryce Elder, Bailey Ober. I think that's the order I'd go in. But we'll get into it. Clearly, Hunter Greene, number 1 of the 3. He has just been throwing smokes in 3 starts since returning from the IL. He averaged 101 miles per hour, averaged in the first start back, remember. It was down to a more modest 98.6 in this one. But, still the Pirates were powerless to stop it. That fastball, even with high velocity, hasn't always played like an elite pitch for Greene, but it did in this one. He got 9 of his 18 swinging strikes on it. No reservations about starting him against the Cubs. I'll say Bryce Elder over Bailey Ober because I'm still not totally sure Ober is better than a 5-inning pitcher. 7 1/3 in this one. Awesome. He had only twice gone even 6 this year prior to this, and only twice went 6 last year too. So facing the Tigers, I expect the results will be good, but will he go long enough for it to amount to much in fantasy? I don't know. I mean, it's obviously not a bad idea to use him. He limits hits because he puts so many balls in the air. Good swinging strike rate as well. But is the upside the same as it is for Bryce Elder, who will be going against the Marlins after just throwing a complete game shutout against the Nationals? And great ground ball pitcher. The sinker has a lot of movement on it, and it was, at least against the Nationals, it was freezing a lot of guys. They were taking it because it looked like it was out of the zone, and then it moved back into the zone for a called strike. It was pretty impressive to watch. And, 4 awesome starts in a row for Elder. 2 of them have come against the Marlins, the team he's scheduled to face next. And in those 2 starts against the Marlins, Elder allowed a combined 1 earned run on a combined 5 hits with a combined 16 strikeouts in 13 innings.
Pretty damn good. Pretty good stuff there for Bryce Elder. I do have 4 young hitters, Scott. I just want to get your thoughts on as well. Not that many people are making waiver wire pickups, but, could just kind of figure out if we're liking these guys for the future, so on and so forth. Gabriel Arias is a borderline top 10 prospect with the Guardians. He's played 2 games since being called up, and he's looked pretty good in those games. Not so great in the minors this season for him. Triston Casas is coming to life. He went 3 for 4 with his 5th home run. 3 of his 5 home runs have gone to the opposite field. I find that pretty interesting. Matt Wallner is a big power prospect with the Twins. He hit a skyscraping home run here on Tuesday with a 45-degree launch angle. And then Josh Jung, prospect with the Rangers, he had a double dong here on Tuesday, striking out a lot, though, Scott. So what do you think about these 4? Arias, Casas, Wallner, Josh Jung?
Yeah, in all 4 of these cases, I see it more as a scouting for next year's situation. Casas and Jung are different caliber of prospect than Wallner and Arias. I do like Wallner's power potential, but there's a lot of strikeout potential too. But yeah, I think the two to focus on here are Casas and Jung. Casas, in his last 6 games, 7 for 18 with 3 home runs, 7 walks versus 4 strikeouts. And you mentioned the opposite field power. So he looks like he's already beginning to live up to that very strong hitter profile that are in comparison to guys like Freddie Freeman, Joey Votto in the minors. Not saying he's definitely going to be that. Of course, the odds are against it. But if you're talking about best case scenario for Triston Casas, that's the caliber of hitter you're talking about. And for Josh Jung, yes, the strikeouts have been out of control, but 3 in his past 5 games. So maybe they're starting to get under control. Strikeouts certainly weren't a problem for him in the minors.
All right. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.